1 snowflake, 2 snowflake, 3 snowflake, 4. Crosshair doesn't want to work for the Empire anymore.
Experimental unit clone force.
I forgot his name for a second.
The defective clutch with the
I also forgot that you do this 1, 2, 3 thing.
Come on, Will. 8 out of 10.
the bad.
That was the hardest one for me to come up with for this episode. This season.
You know, it's is high. Oh, I give it a 6.
Turn this music up way too loud. I always can't hear anything.
It sounds good on our end.
Can't hear anything.
What?
Huh? Hey everyone, welcome back to another Bad Batch-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And we are back. We just did Mando breakdown, but now we're here for Bad Batch Season 2, Episode 12, The Outpost.
Yeah. Outpost. Filmed
on location here in Minnesota.
For real, though. They were like complaining and stuff. I'm like, this is our daily life right now. Dude, so I was in Chicago over the weekend.
Oh, I forgot to ask you about that. I can't believe I forgot.
Well, because yesterday's episode was so hype that we didn't really talk about it. But it was 55 degrees, bro. And they had no snow. Dude, and they had no snow on the ground.
Were you in t-shirts and shorts and like people were like,
I was like,
nuts.
What are we doing? Why am I in Minnesota right now? I looking at my camera on my phone, like of the house, and it's snowing, and I'm like, dude, it's literally like 55 right now. It's so nice, and everyone's like super bummed. Like when you go to like the Bean or whatever, like the tourist spot, everyone's like full on like giant winter jacket, and I'm just like, man, this is
were you
like
in a t-shirt?
Weather.
Were you wearing a t-shirt and shorts?
No, I didn't go that hard. I didn't bring any. I thought it was winter. Everyone complains about Chicago being the windy city, but y'all didn't even come enough. And even parts like half of Wisconsin, dude, had no snow either.
Dang.
It was like 40 minutes from my house. Oh. They had like maybe 2 inches on the ground. Fun. And then 40 minutes to Minnesota, we're like still up to my knees. Like, I don't understand. But whatever. Well, I guess we choose to live here, so can't really complain, right?
Yes. But
I feel like I'm that old person. Like, Minnesota is one of those states that you're like, how do I talk to this stranger? Oh, how's the weather?
Oh,
this weather like that's literally.
Dude, I hate it. Like every customer that comes in.
No, that's all we talk about.
I hate it. I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't care. Just how many pounds of ground beef do you want? Just tell me, like, just get the shoulder.
This is going. They're like, have you seen that it's supposed to snow tomorrow? Jeremiah's like, yep, I did.
I have to like. Oh, here's my cough. So I just have to like go along with it. And dude, I'm terrible at customer service. So like, unless you're like a regular.
If I'm can we role play this real quick?
No.
Ding ding ding.
There's no ding ding ding. Well, I guess the door does open, but there's no bell.
There it is.
But like unless it's like a regular customer, even like sometimes regular customers, like I just talk about weird stuff. I'm like, I don't care. Like I got stuff to do. But I gotta pretend.
You're definitely at one of those places where it's like a regular kind of place, huh?
There's a lot of people that come once or twice a week, and then there's people that come like once every 2-3 weeks, once a month. Some people only come for Christmas, so like every year we see them once a year. That's it. They get their ham or whatever. But anyway, you're not here.
Don't know their names.
Some of them.
I think people are here for this, Jeremiah. You're gonna say people aren't here for this. I think people do want to know a little bit more about your meat shop. Should we do a whole episode just on meats?
No, I don't. Honestly, like, I don't know. I don't know as much about meats as you would think I would after 16 and a half years working at a meat market. Because I don't do the cutting like most of the time. Like I cut some stuff, but like
You don't go back there and like take
No,
apart a
I'm
cow
doing
or
all
anything
the
like
all
that.
the like keep all the bunch of
Upkeep,
stuff, and
counter work.
so
Oh well, all right. Well,
yep.
all right. Bad Batch.
Customers are the worst, but they pay my
They pay your bills.
salary, so. Drew,
Jeremiah
you've
loves
never
that.
even come in before to
I
like
have.
to
What do you
buy
mean?
something? You've been to my work, but you haven't bought anything.
I swear I visited you once at work.
I don't think you have.
I did. I went in and bought brats after that one time you brought brats over.
Those smoked brats. Yes.
Oh.
Back when the three of us with Andrew filmed in person pre-COVID. Oh, we can't say that word apparently. But
We can't.
but
It's been
those
10 minutes.
those were the days.
Yeah, dude. I still remember that apple brat, dude. That thing slapped. Remember, it was like an apple.
no, it was like a whiskey brat. Something else. There was three different ones. It was like
I don't know. One day,
sample.
Jeremiah's like, "Hey, I'm bringing dinner," and we're like, "All right, say less." And this boy brought like a bunch of brats over, and we just like steamed them.
And there was
ate
one that
them.
was too spicy for you. You couldn't finish it, Drew. I remember
For
that.
me?
Yeah.
Are you sure that wasn't for Andrew?
No, that was. I remember you because I'm like, I thought you eat spicy food. Like,
What, did you finish it?
I don't remember. I'm sure I did. I didn't.
How did I not? I always eat spicy.
No,
food.
you wussed out on the spiciness, I guess. So
Well, I don't remember this.
if you can't beat the heat, get out of the. I don't know, whatever it goes. But anywho, you're here for Bad Batch.
Yes, people are already off this.
Oh, we got 7 people. We've gotten more people.
Well, I mean, the chat's popping off right now, but
yes,
yeah.
Yes. So the Outpost. So we finally got an episode with Crosshair in it.
Yeah, second episode of the season.
Second,
So I think we get them like. We have.
I think we're gonna have him. I think we're gonna have him every episode now.
Every episode.
Well, there's only 4 more episodes, and
There's only 3 more weeks technically.
Right, you're right. 3 more weeks, but 4 episodes because they're releasing the last 2 episodes on the same day. So we'll be double dipping on the 30th of this month.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think they are bringing the 2 storylines together now because the Empire the cloners have taken Crosshair, and it was what's her face? Emery, the female scientist, referenced the Doctor Hemlock, which was from last episode or 2 episodes ago, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And so, or last episode, and so, whatever that plan is, like that the thing that Nala Say did not want to help with, I think Crosshair is getting thrown into. And if they're also getting Omega at the same time, they're gonna meet. All of them are gonna meet together, but not on purpose, but on accident. So,
see, I think Omega's getting captured, and Crosshair is gonna save her.
I don't know. I think Omega's gonna get captured. The Bad Batch is gonna
go save her and save him at the same time,
and he's gonna be there. But all right, we're jumping ahead already. But
oh yeah, we're doing some predictions.
So I think so. Remember from the Senate episodes, there was that assassin clone that Rex and Chuchi encountered.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is the project that Nala Say didn't want to help with, and so I think Crosshair is going to be turned into another assassin clone,
or they're going to attempt to turn him.
So he's going to get brainwashed, and he's not going to be. So he had in this episode he had his revelation of, I can't be part of the Empire, they're evil. And now he's going to get brainwashed and be part of the Empire and not even be able to stop it. So
interesting.
So we just jumped ahead to the very end of our episode, basically. But yes, but anyway, Drew, what were your overall thoughts of this episode?
Overall, I love this episode. I said that on the Mandalorian episode, but yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought it was really good. So the story, the development of Crosshair as a character, you are rooting for him through this. Like we said this a lot last season. Like they figure out how to make you root for the bad guy as well,
Mm-hmm.
and they did that in this episode, and I thought it was really well done. My thing was like, I think there's gonna be a redemption arc for him.
Well, I think he is redeemed now. Now that he,
I don't think he's not redeemed in their eyes yet.
well, but his redemption is there because he took a stand against the Empire by killing that lieutenant.
Well, yes,
And so
I
like
think
he's fully been redeemed, but now whether or not the society is going to accept him, especially the Bad Batch, like that's a different thing.
yeah.
But
That's what I said. Like in our eyes, yes, he's redeemed, but everyone else eyes probably not yet. But
yeah,
I
because
think
what was interesting was so Brady from the Discord, who sends in voicemail sometimes, he
he
commented,
sent in one last night.
yeah, and in the Discord he was saying that he after this episode he considers Crosshair's arc, like his story, to be one of the best that we've seen, like in Star Wars.
I could see that.
Which,
I really enjoyed it.
like, I have mixed feelings about that because, like, I want to agree, but I feel like they didn't show him enough in this season. Like, there should have been
Yeah,
two
that's
more
true.
episodes that were just focused on him struggling with being part of the Empire.
Like you think it happened a little quickly?
Yeah, because it's just 2 episodes we've only gotten with him, and I'm like, if we had episodes of him being bullied by stormtroopers, and you know his superiors like talking to him like this lieutenant did this episode, like I feel like it would have been more believable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, I still love it. Like, I think it's great, but I feel like too little, too late, almost. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I really liked it.
Well, like at the end of last season, right? We thought there would not be a redemption for his character,
Right.
and somehow they already did that in 2 episodes. So, I think the biggest thing, Jeremiah, is that there was episodes in this season that took away from the main story, and I think that's kind of like let's say if those 2 episodes, those filler episodes, I'm calling them filler. I don't care what people say, they're filler episodes. If those 2 weren't in this show and it was just like 2 episodes shorter, do you think you would feel the same?
I think I'd feel the same just because we only had 2 episodes so far with Crasher. So like, I don't know. Like I don't know. This might just be not a nice thing for me. Maybe, I don't know. But like, I feel like the reason we've gotten those filler episodes and there hasn't been a lot of direction is because they've put so much money into the animation that they didn't want to spend time on story
The
writing.
writers,
And
or
so,
like they had their base story in the few episodes that they had, and they're like, all right, but that and like I was saying, like, but they don't need to make as many episodes. Like
right.
what is the need? Like this isn't on television. Like what is the need for that? Like I would rather have a shorter season
Right.
with 2 less episodes that were not worth our time than to have those episodes.
Right.
And we keep talking about this every week, and I apologize for those listeners. They're at this point, they're like, okay, we're over it. Andrew hates those 2 episodes, but I do. Like, I don't know. I'm trying not to say it every week because this episode was amazing. I thought this episode was really good. Last week was really good as well, and like, but they're amazing because they're actually building the story.
Right.
They're giving us what we're supposed to be getting in the show.
Right.
And so,
yeah, because like this episode and then like the episode on the 2 episode arc where they had the getting the Ipsium from that like Grand Canyon area, like I feel like they spent a lot of extra money on the animation, the visual effects, like this dust simulations and the storm simulations and like the snow simulations, like all of that costs money. Like it's not like copy paste, like here, let's just drag this.
It's not working with just Canva. It's not just Canva.
No, it's not just Canva.
Dang it. I thought it was just Canva. I thought we could do it.
No. So it's like they make those filler episodes so they can shift money to the animators
Yeah.
to spend more time and work and put more detail in to make sure those things look as great as, because it looks amazing. Like there's the one scene when he's going through the cave, when he first looks through the cave where there's the blood trail, and like this is his flashlight on the snow on the ground in there. I'm like, that looked like full realistic. I'm like, this is like
It felt like a video game to me. Like it was
right,
so cool.
so realistic, and it's like, but that costs more money to make than if they stepped it back a few notches. Like, like if they were to make this season like in the animation of Clone Wars season 1,
Oh,
like it it would just be like one guy on like his phone doing the animation and get it done in like a couple days. Like,
dude, we have to do an episode about like the development from Clone Wars to this show.
just the
Uh,
animation.
We
Yeah,
should like figure out how to do a deep dive into that because like it's ridiculous. Even that movie they put out, the Clone Wars movie that came out,
that was pretty janky.
like it looks nothing like this animation.
Right.
Like it's crazy how much. I mean, technology is developing constantly, but like it's
But
so
it's
good
like
now.
what they did though with Clone Wars is like they had their budget every season, and this is what they could do. And so like, in season 1, they have, say they made like 10 variations of a tree. They spent money
Mhm.
to make those 10 variations. Well, now they have those 10 variations for season 2, so now they can add in some
They pull them
bushes.
over. Yep.
And so it's like, but also like a lot of the advancement in the Clone Wars was also George Lucas just forking over his own cash to
Oh
like
yeah, that
pay
boy
pay
was.
more. So like if he didn't do that, like that show probably would have gotten canceled like with after like the first 2 seasons or something.
Wasn't
But
there? They wanted to get canceled, and he just like no.
I don't know about wanting to get canceled, but
Well, I think there was like times where the money wasn't there, and he just was like, "Yeah, here
right.
it is."
So money
Yeah.
makes the world turn, I guess. And so,
Well, for yeah,
but yes, Bad Batch.
yeah. Did
We're
you
here.
you liked it?
I really did. Like I thought it was very emotional. Like I felt I've said it
You really hated that dude too.
right. Like you love to hate that Lieutenant Nolan, which is funny
Oh
because
yes.
I have a friend named Nolan from church.
Do you hate him?
And so no, I guess so I texted him. I was like, "Hey,
Oh,
you're officially part of the Star Wars canon via Bad Batch," because he watches Star Wars too. So
oh,
um,
nice.
it's kind of funny.
Where's he at?
I don't know. He's listens to the podcast occasionally,
Oh well, hello, no one.
but he's a busy guy, so he doesn't catch everything. But yeah, so like I really liked the episode. I remember like when with Gunji's episode, like I was like, man, Gunji's performance was great in this episode. Like I felt like Crosshair's performance, like this the emotion on his face, like the animation on his face, and like D. Bradley Baker's acting of emotion. Like at the end when
Mhm.
Mayday dies and he's like, "You can save him." Like, why wouldn't you save him? Like he was like pleading with
Yep.
that Lieutenant Nolan, and like it was very emotional. And then like the shadow of the space ice vulture came by. I'm like, dude, this vulture thing, like the shadow, like
Yep.
it was so good. Like we know that they can make great stuff. I just don't know why they have to just make filler episodes that don't matter. Like
Well, they matter to some of our listeners.
I
Love them.
know, I know some of you are probably annoyed by us, but like anyway, speaking of our listeners, I always forget to like do the Spotify Q&A right at the beginning of the episode. So let's do this here now, right now. So the Q&A from Spotify was, what project of Palpatine's is Nala Se refusing to help with? So we got 7 answers. Connor McCloskey says, I think Palps is trying to make either a Star Killer or a clone of himself. Jonathan says, I assume it is cloning himself, but I'd rather they don't retcon the sequel trilogy. I'd prefer it to be Dark Trooper program. They want to make genetically modified clones super soldiers. James L. Patton says Death Star cloning Sheevy and something like that. Shivi, that's a good name. Retta says, I'm guessing it's the clones of Palpatine, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was something to do with the Zillo Beast. Firstborn says either Nalase is needed for the smoke clone. I don't know if it's a type of smoke clone, or using the Zillo Beast skin for armor in their ships based upon what Palpatine said in the original Zillo Beast episode. Joshua says Order 66, which I don't know. Another Order 66, I don't know. And then Addie says maybe brainwashing or a force sensitive individual. So all Zillo Beasts are cloning himself as well. A lot of people think so, but maybe it's this.
I think it's both.
This clone assassin thing though might be the thing. Like
That might be a thing. I didn't even think about that.
They brought him in for a reason. Like that wasn't just some random thing that they just want to do. Like they put that in there for a reason. So I'm guessing that's the program. Brainwashed, like permanent Order 66, kind of like maybe what is it? Joshua was right. Maybe it's like a permanent like biochip that like it doesn't fade out or something.
Yeah, but like my thing is with that though. Nalase also would not want to work on cloning Palpatine either.
Right.
Like that's also something like, because that's not what the clone technology is for. It wasn't for to like make sure that someone can like survive, or like
right.
It was meant for building an army that was efficient.
Right, but they're also, this is just one of the cloning projects they've done. Like we don't know what
that's true. We don't know. I mean,
Kamino did before this. So
that's what Kamino did, right? Is because
your boy,
clone things.
Your boy, Dex, whatever his name.
Dex.
He's like, oh, they're really good they're the cloners. So like they've been cloning forever. But like I would think it'd be cool to see like what they've cloned in the past. Like,
dude, I would love to get a book or something like of Kamino before the Clone Wars.
Wasn't in Attack of the Clones? Didn't like Nala say, or one of those Kaminoans say something like, "This is like the finest soldier we've ever made," like implying that they've made
other ones,
clone armies or clone battalions, or like other things before that were like I don't know, like I want to know. It'd be really cool to see other things that they've cloned in projects and all that jazz. But
I don't know. Chat, help us out.
Maybe there was like an EU thing that came out after Attack of the Clones. Maybe everyone go spam Andrew. So do an EU with Andrew
on cloning.
But yes, we should probably do scene by scene now.
Yes, let's do it.
So
let's jump in.
We're back on Coruscant, and they're at the military base, and apparently, clones are being retired now. So,
do you think they're actually being retired? They're being killed off.
I think they are being retired, but I think that's maybe just a holding place for them currently. I think eventually they're going to be killed and dealt with, but I don't know.
But we did see that one clone that was in the Kenobi show.
That is true.
So maybe some didn't get killed.
Yeah. So we don't know exactly the fate of the clones. We just know that I know in Rebels there was a thing like where they have all been decommissioned, which sounds more like they were killed rather than retired.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know.
Decommissioned is not a nice word.
No. So there are some clones walking by that are like, retirement, like we're soldiers, like what are we supposed to do? And then like it's just whatever military officer where it was like, well, you have the internal something, whatever, like some whatever government agency, like all your questions can be given towards them, blah blah blah. And so like there's not a lot of answers. But Crosshair's watching this and listening to this. He has his helmet off, and then he's going on a mission, and we're introduced to Lieutenant Nolan, and he doesn't like that Crosshair has his helmet off, so makes him put his helmet on, and then he looks at the clones inside the ship and like disappointed, and then Crosshair's like, problem. He's like, I don't like used materials or something like that. Like, bro, like, calm down. They're only like 3 years old they're 4 years old into their use, so like, calm down. Like, how many people buy used cars and they just work just fine, right?
True.
But yes, so they are being sent to a snow planet called Barton 4. Like, I don't know if it was a planet or if it was a moon of a planet, but it was Barton 4. So it's the fourth of something in some system. So they go there and it's just super snowy. Looks like Hoth on steroids. Like, it's straight storms. And so there's an outpost there that they have to go to, and they're there to collect. The mission is to go there to collect cargo there. And so apparently is being guarded by some clones temporarily, which we ended up learning was they were there for a year guarding these materials. So here's the thing. We learn later on in the episode that the most materials inside those crates were stormtrooper armor. Like, why would you send them to some random planet like that to store? Like, it didn't make sense to me.
I think it was because they really didn't. I think one, they're trying to hide that they're gonna do this,
Maybe.
and then two, I think because like throughout this episode, we don't know what's in those crates, and they're like, I would like to know. It's above the clone. He said it's above the clone's pay grade,
Right.
which means I don't think the clones are supposed to know what's in those crates.
Right, because they're probably told not to, or they may not
So
even have the.
why are they on that planet? I don't know. Maybe that's the planet that they developed that material for that armor for,
I don't know.
or
Maybe.
something in that system, and they're like, we'll just leave them over there.
Maybe.
I also think they put clones to guard them because they kind of knew that they would get slowly picked off,
Possibly.
and like when they met up, the guy's like, you were supposed to be here 36
rotations ago. Which
means
kind of like a day in Star Wars.
Oh, is it only? Yeah.
So, but they were there for a year guarding this stuff.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. But, like, I think story-wise, it would have been better if the contents in there were, like, weapons and grenades and stuff like that. Because it's like they could have used them to stay alive. But
they could use the new armor, too.
Well, that armor kind of sucks, so.
Yeah, but, like, there were... I think the material... Like, what they had was so janky. Those clones were so janked. So...
Yeah.
I think it probably would have helped with the weather.
Right.
Potentially.
It would have been funny if it was the snow trooper armor.
That would have been hilarious.
And also very sad. I would have cried. But, like, yeah. So, we are introduced to 3 remaining clones. So, the leader, Commander, not Captain or anything, but Commander Mayday. He's cool beard.
Cool name.
Mayday, yes, which is very fitting for this episode. Like, they're in distress, so he's like, Mayday, Mayday, like, we need help, basically, and he didn't get any help, which is interesting. Yes.
Maybe he changed his name while he was on there to me.
Yeah, it's probably like...
It was Frank
Frank or something like that. But we also... Veach and Hex were the other 2. Which Veach... What is Veach? Is there another character in another show like Veach? Or something like that? Or something like
that I know.
I was like hearing his name. I'm like,
I
was like Veach. I don't know, but
I was thinking more like Hex, dude. That's a cool name too.
Yeah,
some of these clones' names are so cool, man.
It's spelled HEXX, 2 X's.
Mm-hmm.
So There's a name. You can name your next kid Hex.
That's a dog's name. I would name a dog Hex.
Name your next son Rex.
No. Didn't we already? Didn't
We've had this
didn't-
argument a lot, like Star Wars.
Didn't I
names.
say I was gonna name my next kid Ezra?
That is true,
Because,
but Stephanie is not supposed to know that it's Star Wars until after you officially sign the birth certificate.
Obviously, duh.
Ezra Bridger Shoemaker.
You know how hard I was pushing for Luca, because I really like that name, but then she didn't let me pick Luca because she was afraid I'd start calling him Luke as a nickname.
You try to slide in it all slick. Yeah, Luca.
Well, I really like
different.
Luca, but my best friend, his other friend, one of his really close friends is named Luca. So she's like, we know someone named Luca. I'm like, that's how Stephanie is. When we were picking names, she didn't want to know anyone that had the name Miles personally.
So Ezra would be a good choice. I
There's
don't
no
think
Ezra.
I know any Ezras.
Ezra could also be a girl's name too. It could be.
It's a male name.
Is it?
It is. You'd have to change the spelling of it to make it. Probably add an H to the end. Easy.
I'm only having boys anyway, so.
Yeah, good luck with that. Now that you said it, you're gonna have 4 girls in a row.
Hey, I'm only having one more kid, so that's all that matters.
People have said that too, so. But that didn't always turn out for them. So
snip, snap, snip.
That doesn't always work. That's Johnny Damon. Remember Johnny Damon, baseball player for the Boston Red Sox?
No, that's a
he had some extra
sports
kids.
Cut.
But anywho,
no, me and Steph both say we only want one more, but our luck will get twins.
Probably 2 girls.
Well, if it's one boy, one girl, middle name, I told her it has to be Luke and Leia as their middle names.
Did she agree to that?
Yes, she did. Because the odds is so.
All right, everybody.
Say a prayer.
Say a prayer. Good vibes to. All right, we're good. All right, we're done. Yes. So Lieutenant Nolan comes in and he's just rude. Why didn't you, where is everybody? What blah blah blah. He's just rude and then demanding respect from the clones, and Mayday's I've learned that respect is something you earn. Blah blah blah. And Nolan's criticizing his failure as a leader. And he's like, well, sir, how many missions have you led? And that shut him up really quick, Lieutenant Nolan. So
this is probably his first mission.
This is probably his first mission. It's not even a real mission. It's just.
And you can tell it's his first mission by his.
He's not leading anyone. He's just commanding people. And it's that doesn't work. So anyway, then it just goes to Mayday and Crosshair. And Crosshair just kind of doesn't want to conversate. Is that a word? Conversate? Converse? Maybe that's the word. Converse. Have a conversation with this guy, but he just kind of says what he needs to say. But Mayday brings Crosshair outside to kind of survey the outside. And is saying how they've lost people, the clones, to raiders and whatnot. And they're at a sensor. And he's like, well, why aren't your sensors catching them? Blah, blah, blah. And it's faulty sensors, not working properly just because they've been there so long and it's harsh weather, so the equipment's not working that great. And so, but then, raiders are suddenly inside the perimeter and oh, we got raiders, blah, blah, blah. They're over here, blah, blah, blah. So Mayday and Crosshair, they go out, they split up to cover more ground, and Crosshair gets up in a high point and it's kind of looking, and he's looking through the heat sensor part of his scope and helmet, and he sees a raider running towards a ship and then a clone trooper running after him, and then the ship explodes and it's so bright it hurts him, kind of like Fennec in Mandalorian season 1 when she's trying to snipe Mando and that wannabe Han Solo guy. So the flashes hurt. And so then he sees another raider running off and he takes a shot, and then he guess he doesn't kill him. I don't know. He didn't miss, but like it just wasn't a kill shot,
Because his eye was still jacked up.
probably. And so he runs after him, finds blood on the ground. Now, okay, I don't know why I thought this because it's really stupid. But he sees like the red blood on the ground. I'm like, oh wow, this alien species has red blood. Like it was like different than what we're used to for blood. And I was like, oh wait, blood is normally red. I don't know why. I was like,
I was thinking like, oh, there's blood in Star Wars. That's what I was
that was
thinking.
what people were talking about in the Discord. Just like
Because it's like,
there's
if it's a laser, wouldn't it burn?
yeah, like
So
people were
going
saying
through?
like there's no consistency with how blood works in Star Wars. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you get
That
shot.
was my thought. I'm like, why is there blood?
Like sometimes you're shot and it's bloody. Sometimes it's just shot and it's just instant, like nothing happens. Same with lightsabers. Like in a cantina in episode 4, we get a bloody arm that gets cut off. Maul sprays blood when he gets cut in half.
True.
But like other times you just cut
then-
and it just cauterizes it.
Yeah, like right away.
And so I don't know. It doesn't make sense, but that's Star Wars. It kind of
Never makes sense half the time.
half time, yeah. But still our favorite cinematic universe.
Truth.
Sorry, fictional universe, I should say. But yeah, so he goes in pursuit. He follows the blood trail, goes down into a cave, and I was like, this is when my Minnesota thing kicked in because he goes down into that hole, like grabbing on the side. I'm like, there's no way with all the snow and ice that you could like hold on to the ledge. Like it would just crumble and slip. I'm like, these artists were not ever in cold. They're not from Minnesota. Like
No, they all live in California.
yeah. And so
Which, I mean, they're getting hit by snow right now, so maybe
oh,
they
then
are
again,
feeling
like
a little bit.
were they saying like quick go to the store, get enough food to last for 2 weeks because you're gonna be trapped in your homes for 2 weeks?
Dude, yeah, in Northern California, they're like literally trapped in, and I'm like,
And like they don't have the
they
equipment.
don't have. I mean, yeah, they don't have material to deal with that. Like they don't have shovels. Like no one has like snow.
I'm sure like the northernest part of California they get like some snow, like just like an inch or something once in a while. But like people don't have shovels and they probably don't have plow trucks.
They don't have. Then I think they had to call in the military.
Oh,
the National Guard
probably
came
as
through.
Nationally, what is that?
A national emergency.
Or whatever.
Like people died,
State
dude,
of emergency
in their houses.
Have they died already?
Yeah, there was people that died because the power went out.
Bro.
And they don't have heat and they just froze.
It's even that cold, or was that like
I think their pipes burst too. Like it got cold in Northern Cal, like where it happened, it was cold enough where they're having problems.
Well,
it's headline news all over the place. Meanwhile,
hopefully
that's like our daily life.
if you know anybody that's in the chat,
hopefully no one listening has been affected.
But
by
if
that.
you know
Not
someone
taking it
living
lightly.
and they're trapped in their home right now, send them a link to Empire Radio and they can listen to us. Have them subscribe to us on YouTube and all that jazz.
And we can tell them how to get out.
Yeah. Get a shovel that you don't have. You have to. What would you use instead of a shovel? Like, I've seen people use like planks of plywood to like
plywood or like I don't. My thing is like they don't have gardening shovels.
I don't know, maybe. Or if you have like a leaf blower.
No, but dude,
that can help.
They have like I think they got like 16 plus inches.
I'm saying if it was fluffy enough, you could use a leaf blower. Yeah. But if it's wet, then you're kind of screwed. You'd have to get like one of those small like garbage cans that are like like 12 inches, and it's like cut that in half, and then like duct tape it to like a broomstick or something.
Or honestly, just cut 2 holes in the side and
could do that. That'd be a lot of extra work, but
they could also just strap it to the front of their cars.
That probably don't know how they can't move in the snow because they've
That's true.
never
They don't have. Yeah.
they don't know how to do the rock method when they're stuck in the snow, right? True. I even know about that, and I don't even
True.
drive.
True.
But anyway,
But you know what they should maybe you know what they should use.
a promo code
Will said,
maybe.
Will said in the chat, maybe some hot coffee or tea could help them get out.
That is true.
Pour that on there, as long as it's above freezing, obviously.
But also, I don't know if the mail people can deliver in the snow.
Hey, Minnesota mail people, rain, sleet,
That
snow,
is
we
true.
get it done.
But
they're supposed to do it.
yes. So if you're stranded in your home in Northern California right now, and you want
or anywhere,
and you want something hot and to keep you warm and alert, why don't you use our promo code for Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea? So let's hear a little word from them right now.
Hey everyone, Andrew here. I'm pleased to tell you that the sponsor of today's episode is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. If you don't know anything about Wesley Andrews, you definitely should. They're an award-winning coffee roaster and shop in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they make fantastic coffee. The awesome thing is that whether you live in the Twin Cities or not, you can get their coffee beans delivered straight to your door by ordering them online. They even have a subscription service that ensures you never run out of amazing coffee. If you've been looking for some new coffee to try or a way to elevate your normal coffee routine, now's your chance. Head over to wesleyandrews.cc, use the code EMPIRERADIO, that's with a capital E and a capital R with no space at checkout, to get 15% off your first purchase of any bags of coffee or a coffee subscription. I can't think of a better deal. Get 15% off some great coffee, support a small business, and support your favorite Star Wars podcast. In the words of Emperor Palpatine, do it.
Do it. Oh, yeah, we're pretty lined up right there. All right, yeah, do it. So, Crosshair jumps down into this cave, looking around, sees a blood trail, and then Mayday arrives and jumps down. And they, oh, this is how they snuck into our base. They used this cave, which is inside the perimeter, which I feel like
they didn't do a good job.
I'm kind of like, all right, I feel bad for you. All your clone troopers died, but how do you not know that there was this hole in the ground? Like,
y'all didn't
hole in the ground inside the perimeter. Like, I can understand like a hole in the ground, like outside the perimeter where you're not at, but whatever. I'm not a trooper. I don't know the stresses of war, so I can't attest to.
True, and like we don't know how fast he lost all his troops.
Right, because we know they were there for a year, but
he could have been down to.
But it could have been they might have been running out of supplies and things were going down to like the last 36 days that maybe they were supposed to come when they were getting rough, when those things were getting rough, and they never came. So
true, and I guess we also don't know when was that tunnel digged. Like we don't know.
Right. And so during this attack by the Raiders, Veach and Hex were killed. So the only clones left are Crosshair and Mayday. And in that raid, the Raiders left with 2 of the crates. And so Lieutenant Nolan tells them to go retrieve those crates, and they have to do it by themselves, just 2 of them, which...
Because he said it was a clone duty or something.
Yeah, like...
He's very racist towards clones.
And I think there were stormtroopers and extra clones that came with them, but they're like, no, we need them here for stuff here. You guys can go get those crates back. And so they go back to the tunnel, the cave tunnel thing, and they follow the blood trail, and they find the body of the raider. And these raiders look like mummies. That's the way they look.
Yeah, I didn't like that we never get to see what they actually look like. Right.
Part of me was like, they kind of look like Dengar. Like, I was thinking maybe like Dengar was one of these raiders on this planet, and like this is I don't know. Did we see Dengar in Clone Wars? Remember there was that episode where all the like bounty hunters were like in that mission
Dengar.
with.
Dude, we haven't heard from Dengar in a while.
That is true. Dengar used to send in voicemails, and it was a great. The last one that we got was one that we didn't play because it was a message for Andrew when he left, and it was the guy without his accent. He was from Britain. He's like,
dude, we need a.
He's like, hey, this is so and so across the pond in Britain. I voiced Dengar. I just wanted to like wish Andrew the best of luck and blah blah blah. And we haven't heard from him since. So I kind of Dengar, if you're listening, send us a voicemail. It's been a while.
True.
We'd love to hear from
We
you.
miss you.
That was some of the best voicemails we got. That was like a long, long time ago. We've been doing voicemails for over 2 years now, Drew. You think it like this is like 2001 stuff that he was doing. So Dengar,
2021, you mean?
what did I say?
2001.
Oh, 2021.
This boy. I was like,
But yes.
we've been doing this since.
Dengar, we love you. Come back. We need you.
Yes, come back, please. That'd be cool.
Yes. So they find the body. They keep going. Then Crosshair steps on a pressure mine. And so, well, I should say, like, Mayday was shocked that the Raiders didn't take the body with them because it was a group that escaped. And so, and then Crosshair was like, well, he's just dead weight. Like, this is going to slow you down, which comes back later in the episode.
Well, and Mayday said, well,
I hope,
don't let me die by you.
Yeah, don't let me die with you on
Next to you or something
like that. So they go on. Crosshair steps on the pressure mine, and Mayday has to. He doesn't disarm it because he doesn't have the tools. Like he said, like we've had to learn how to improvise, and so what he does is he just has these little like hook things that he just sets into the thing where it just goes down, holds the pressure down at the same spot that the foot is holding it down. And I was like, dude, that's just going into snow. Like that pressure plate is gonna pop back up.
They weren't that long of nails either.
But he knows what he's doing. He is a professional, so he put in those hooks, held it down.
Well, and like even when he put it down to hold it, he stepped out of the way. He's like, "Don't move yet.
Right.
Let me get behind this thing." So, which to me means someone else probably did that to another clone, and they didn't walk away fast enough. And
no, well, he just said because when Crosshair said, "What, you don't have confidence in your work?" He's like, "I'm confident. I'm just not stupid." Like he says that. So like.
But you don't think it was another clone that was stupid?
No, I just think that Mayfeld. Oh. I keep saying Mayfeld from. Keep saying that from Mando. It's
every time you say Mayday, I always think of Mayday Parade.
Yeah,
good band. Check them out.
That's the May 1st, right? Is Mayday technically, right? The holiday Mayday, but
that's a thing.
What do you mean? Is that a thing? Mayday is a big thing.
I don't even know what that is.
Mayday, like Mayday. You've heard that in movies.
Oh, like crashing, but
yeah,
that's a holiday.
Because Mayday is you're supposed to recognize people who like died. Like, you never heard?
I didn't know that.
What do you mean? Like you never did like Mayday? No, wait, you were homeschooled. Never mind.
I mean, I wasn't a homeschool that long.
Well, I just remember in elementary school we would make Mayday baskets, and so we would fill baskets with like might have been like Chinese food containers, like those ones. Like we got this got, and we'd fill it with stuff, decorate them, and then we would at school we would go like on a walk through the neighborhood and like hang them on doors for like Mayday.
I literally never heard that.
I don't know. Will says I've never made those. Well,
yeah, that must be a St. Paul tradition.
I don't know. I think it's like a pretty popular thing. I don't know. Anywho, Mayday says he's not stupid, so he's just a smart guy, he knows he's the leader. He's a commander. Like he's has respect because of his leadership. So I think he's just a smart guy. So Crusher takes his foot off. Everything's good.
Obviously.
Obviously.
They're not gonna. They would have killed him like that. That would have been. That would have been interesting.
That would have been rough. But they make their way through the cave. And they get out and they see across the way a light on the side of the mountain. And there's like the base camp for the raiders. And so Crosshair uses what is it, infrared scope or whatever, and sees all the people in there. There's 2 guards out front plus people inside, blah, blah, blah. So they go take out the 2 guards, and then they just kind of start attacking the camp. And
there's a lot more than just 5 guys.
Yeah, like there's people that were out there that they could see, but then the cave goes into the mountain, and as they kill those first few people, tons come out.
Mm-hmm.
And so then there's some pressure mines in there, and Crosshair, he shoots the pressure mine and blows up, and that kills everybody. And so during the attack, I don't know if you saw, but in the background there was someone else that was there fighting alongside Crosshair and Mayday, named Lucy.
Wow.
And she sent it to us a message while in the battle. So like she can multitask really well. So let's take a listen to Lucy.
Hey everyone, fictional Lucy here. If you're wondering what all that shooting is in the background, that's because I'm in a laser battle. So I need you to hear this very important message. You see, I'm from the Voicemail Cinematic Universe, which is an original Star Wars audio drama created by Empire Radio fans through voicemails. This battle is really intense, but you can't see the true drama of it since this is just audio. That's what I need your help with. You need to illustrate the VCU. That's right, I need a picture to go along with every voicemail in this story. Any type of media, Lego, painting, digital, anything. Just go into the description of this episode and find a link that takes you directly to a Google Doc. It'll tell you exactly how to submit your work. So please, start illustrating and get me out of this mess. I really hate this guy, but in the words of Emperor Palpatine, do it.
Do it.
Do it.
And if you listen to our episode of Mando Breakdown last night, episode 2, there's a big announcement that has to do with the VCU. And Lucy and Addie, who are fans of the podcast and have their own podcast and have become very good friends, have been working on a special project. They have written a book-length, a novel-length audio drama that is a sequel to the VCU story. But they're not going to release that audio drama until the VCU project has been fully illustrated and released, because people need to watch the VCU movie and then they can listen to the sequel audio drama that they have written. So we got a bunch this week from a gentleman named David, who's in the Discord and in the chat a little bit. And so he has sent in some Lego stop motion movies to go along with some of these. I think he's sent in 5 or 6 of them. So he's been doing really, really good work with that. So if you can help us illustrate the VCU, you can definitely do anything you want. Drawing, painting, digital art, Lego stuff. And he's in the chat. Dave.
He's in the chat right now.
Dave STP. And so definitely help us.
Does that stand for St. Paul?
No.
Oh. How do you know?
Because I got the emails from him from his submissions. I know his name.
Oh. I was like, oh, does he live here?
That'd be pretty cool. But yes. So now we got the extra one today. And so we're probably we're 38% finished with the project. So we got a lot of way to go. But Addie and Lucy have been working really hard on this big project, a lot of hours into it. And I want to see this project. I want them to see the joys of everybody listening to these things and feedback and stuff. So get the VCU illustrated, get it done. and it would be great. It would be really cool. So
Do it.
do it. But yes, so during the attack, when they were attacking the base, one of the raiders tries to escape with the cargo, but Crosshair shoots him, and so the cargo crashes all over the place. So after everything's done, the explosion, they go and check out the crates, and like we mentioned earlier, the things inside those crates was trooper armor, stormtrooper armor. So like Mayday was very upset on that because it's like we could have used this stuff to help us, blah blah blah, and he felt betrayed by the Empire. Crosshair kind of felt a little betrayed. You can see that a little bit there, and so while this is happening, there's a rumble, and because of the explosion, an avalanche starts to happen, and so big huge
It was
avalanche.
kind of delayed, but
Well, it takes time for things to shift around a little bit, blah 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 here and there. Doesn't always have to happen right away, but once it starts going, it starts going. So it starts going out. It's just like that thing, like in every movie and show, when something's like coming at you, people just like run away from it rather than running to the side. Like I understand it's an avalanche and it was pretty big,
and the snow's deep.
and the snow's okay. They were running fast in that snow, dude. Like you can't run that fast in snow.
Once again, the people that drew this and illustrated this don't live in Minnesota.
Right. And I'm like, I understand like they didn't have like obviously if you're wearing like snow gear, like that slows you down and flexibility and stuff. But they're just doing regular trooper armor, so like for them to run through like 2 feet of snow, like that's hard.
Well, no, Mayday did say that he had other gear because he was saying that Crosshair, if he went out by himself, he would freeze.
Right. But I'm saying it's still like flexible.
They were still running faster than
flexible with it, so they could still run fast. But either way, even in regular clothes, you can't run through snow that fast.
No.
Like if it's like 6 inches, maybe, but you'd still be slipping and sliding. But anyway, so there's like a rock in the distance that they try to get to try and like hide behind, but it hits the avalanche hits them, and so Crosshair he gets buried off in the distance, which a lot of times when you get hit with an avalanche, you don't know what way is up, and so people can't find their way out. So it's luckily he was,
they always say the spit.
or at least like dig a hole or something around you where you can like drop something, like whether it's just a bulk, some snow.
They always say to spit because then you can figure out which way's up.
Yeah, but if you spit and you don't know where it went, like either way, you're supposed to see if you can find gravity. That's all it is saying.
Yeah.
Something that can drop, make a little like space where you can drop some snow or something to see where the snow goes, so you know which way is up and down. And so, but he just sits up, and so he looks up and he sees the tip of the stone, the rock that was there, just a little bit exposed. So he's like, "Hey, I know that Mayday was basically going to that rock, so maybe he made it." So he goes to the rock, and then he starts walking through like 5 feet of snow, which he walks really fast through 5 feet of snow. Like that is not possible, but he got it done. He started digging and he found Mayday, and Mayday is dying, and he's like, just let me die. Like, let me say this, go on without me. So then it makes you think, oh, he just said dead weight, like leave someone because of dead weight, but he's like, no, basically, and he just puts his helmet on, grabs him, and starts carrying him. And so they trek through the snow the best they can. They get to like part of a mountaintop where they I don't know if they spent the night like along by that rock, like the big side of the mountain that they got to at one point, or if they just went there to rest. But
yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell.
and the thing is, our boy Crosshair, he did not have a helmet on, and he would have gotten
His ears would have been frostbite.
frostbite.
For
His
sure.
nose would have been frostbite. He probably would have froze to death regardless. Like if it's I forget what temperature to say, but if it's like once it goes like under 20 degrees, like no, 20 degrees isn't that cold here in Minnesota. Like that's nothing.
No, but you still don't.
But
wanna be
like if you're
outside with
if you're
nothing.
exposed like that for a long period of time, like you can get
Even at 32 degrees, even at freezing, you don't want to be outside that long.
well, that's fine because your body can keep up. But like once you start getting below 20, that's when your body starts to like really work hard. But it was super cool. Like you can tell by like
He was like shaking.
shaking, but like also like just with our experiences, like how much of your breath you can see also shows how cold it is. Like if you can like when it's like 30 degrees, you can see a little bit of your breath, not a lot. But like when they were breathing, it was super evident, and so that was probably below zero, and so he would not have been able to. He would have froze to death really fast without that helmet on. And so, but whatever, it's a kids show, right?
True.
And so they
A violent kid show.
yes, and so then it flashes to the base and the sun's shining. Good sunny day, and they're loading up ships, and there's all kinds of stormtroopers, and some troopers like start turning around, like, oh, look out there, oh, they're back, and so everyone turns around, and goes out and see Crosshair carrying Mayday on his side, just they're walking, and so Mayday he collapses, and Lieutenant Nolan shows up, and he's like, "Oh, you failed your mission. You don't have the cargo. Typical. Blah blah blah." And Crosshair is just pleading, like he needs help. He needs help. He needs a medic. Get a medic. And Lieutenant Nolan's like, "No, that's like a waste of Imperial resources." Blah blah blah. And then that's when Mayday, his head goes down, and Crosshair checks his pulse, and he's dead. Super sad. Crosshair is super distraught, and he's like, "Why didn't you help him? You could have helped him. Like,
you could have saved.
You could have saved him." And it's like the pleading sound in his voice and like the emotion on his face. And I know this is just an animated show,
Oh, it was
but
good.
like the animation and the acting, D. Bradley Baker is like the best. Like,
yeah.
honestly, like why aren't voice actors ever nominated for like Emmys for like leading roles? Like he's literally voicing all of these, like the entire Bad Batch plus other clone troopers. And if you looked at the credits, he voiced the Ice Vulture.
Oh, really?
So he just must have made a sound, and they just edited it to sound like or something like. And so it is, but it's just funny that he does so many characters so well.
Yeah.
And like he deserves like an Emmy just for like just because.
I would love to interview him one day. That'd be so cool.
All right, I'll text him after tonight, and I'll see if he's
Alright,
ready.
good.
Sometime soon we can set that up.
We can get him on, and he can say all like, "Can you do this voice?" And then he does it. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, it's so funny because it's like he has all these clone voices. Like it's just like the regular clones, not the Bad Batch, like regular clones. Like I feel like I could tell who Rex is if he just did a bunch of different. I'm like, okay, that one's Rex, even though they're all the same voice. Like I just feel like
he has different.
And it's like when there's a group of clones talking to each other, like they all sound different, even though they're the same exact voice. Like I don't know how to. It's just crazy, but
he's good.
He's the goat.
The voice goat.
The voice goat. And so the lieutenant, he's yelling at Crosshair for first failure, blah blah blah, and he starts walking away, and then you see the shadow of the Vulture go over Crosshair and Mayday. I'm like, oh no, like that was such a good scene. And then I think he looks up and sees it, and then he keeps seeing the shadow going back. It's just circling because earlier in the episode it was like, oh, the vultures eat the bodies when they die, and so it's just kind of like it's inevitable that the clones are gonna die. Like it's just, and they're just the enemy is just waiting to devour the clones. And so it was just really meaningful. And Crosshair was just getting so emotional. And he gets up and he says, "Lieutenant," and he turns around and shoots him. I'm like, dang. Like, we all wanted it to happen. I just didn't know how they were going to do it, if they would do it. Because it took a while. After he started walking away, it was like a hot, 10, 15 seconds before he actually got up and shot him. So it's like, oh, maybe he's just accepting this abuse from power from the Empire and all that jazz. So, but he does it. He shoots him. And then Crosshair collapses while the stormtroopers come to arrest him or whatever. And so I thought he died. I thought his last breath, he got redeemed when he killed the Imperial lieutenant. And because it goes to black when he collapses, and it's just on his face, and it goes to black, and there's black for a few seconds. I'm like, did they kill him? It would have been. I would not have been mad if they killed him there. I think it would have.
No, I think that would have been a good way to go out.
It would have been, but
it would have been sad for the Bad Batch to never understood that he
never know that he died. They never see him again.
Yeah,
I don't know, but then he wakes up and he's in the lab, and what's her name? Emery is doing some experiments, and he's like, "Where am I?" Blah blah blah. I go, okay, this is really funny. When I was watching it the second time yesterday, I was in the afternoon, and I started falling asleep at the very end. And so Crosshair is in and out of consciousness, trying to wake up, and I'm falling asleep. So I felt like I was Crosshair in that moment.
Bro.
It was kind of funny. It's I had to sit up and okay, I gotta watch this last minute. But so Emery, she's doing some experiments and doing stuff, blah blah blah, and she's like, well, maybe you'll be free if you survive these experiments or something along those lines. So the question is, what is she doing? Is this related to what Nala Se didn't want to help with? Is this the assassin program that we think there is? Maybe, possibly. Is it something? We don't know. So I think next episode, we might not get. Okay, I said earlier we might not. I thought we were going to get Crosshair for the rest of every episode, but I'm guessing next episode, Omega is going to get captured by the Empire.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get him next week.
So, but
if we do, it's not going to be the full thing. It would be going back and forth.
I wish we did more back and forth. It would have been so great if this season went back and forth. It was a Bad Batch episode and then a Crosshair episode, a Bad Batch episode and a Crosshair. It's we went back and forth, and we could. No,
I'm saying in one episode it'd be nice if we got what Crosshair is going through at this moment, and the same time this is what the Bad Batch is going through.
Right. So next week's title does not give us
spoilers.
It does not give us any.
Oh, really?
Thing. It's Pabu. 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 So that could be a planet. That could be a person. It could be a code name.
Could be deodorant.
It could be who knows. Now, do you want to know the episode after that?
The last two?
No, there's Pabu.
Oh.
One after that, and then the two in a finale. So 2 weeks from now, it's Tipping Point. So I think whatever happens with or at Pabu is going to lead to the Tipping Point.
Watch Pabu's a filler episode.
Oh, gosh. Dude, I'll be so mad.
It's a name of some alien that they're helping. Or a dog or something dumb.
Dude.
I hope not.
Dude, I'll be so mad. Last week was great with Zilla Beast. This was an amazing episode. I'll be so mad.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Overall, though, this episode was really good. I really liked
Yeah,
it.
very good.
And like I said earlier, the development of Crosshair, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was an episode that we need. We definitely needed this episode.
Do you think Crosshair is going to survive this season?
I think so. I'm still kind of on my thing where I think Crosshair is going to actually be the one that ends up saving Omega, and then he's going to join the Bad Batch again.
Possibly. Or maybe Omega saves Crosshair. Or maybe they save each other.
that.
Like first
They save each other.
she tries, she escapes of herself somehow, blah blah blah. While she's running around trying to escape, she comes upon Crosshair
getting
in like a
tortured
or like
Banta tank.
back to tank or put up a bunch of tubes,
Yeah.
saves him, and then
Grogu's in the corner.
gosh.
in another tank.
That'd be mad.
Dude, I would not be surprised if we see Grogu in this lab.
It's like I was just thinking when you said that, like Stranger Things with all the kids in the lab. It's just like open up a room and there's a bunch of Grogus.
Yeah.
That'd be funny. All with
What if Grogu, like, the reason why he got out was that, like, Palpatine actually took him?
those answers. Tune into The Mandalorian. We'll get the answers to that.
Hopefully.
I think
Hopefully we get the answers.
I will definitely get the answers to that this season. I think about who saved Grogu in the Mando season, but not in Bad Batch.
But we might see him.
But we won't see them.
You don't think we'll see him?
No, not in Bad Batch ever.
You don't think we're going to see Grogu in this lab?
No.
All right.
Like I said, I think Grogu wasn't captured until by the Empire until after the original trilogy. They might have known of him, like from.
I think he was captured right away.
Okay.
That's why we didn't see him in the original trilogy.
Well, that's okay. I don't like that argument because there's like a million characters, like
I'm just saying.
Hondo, like Ahsoka, Ezra, Thrawn, all of them during the original trilogy. They're still there.
We'll find out why we didn't see them either. No, I'm just kidding.
Yep.
Ahsoka had other things going on.
Yeah.
Ezra and Thrawn are in the galaxy.
I saw someone took a picture of or made a picture of a Purrgil, and Ezra is on it, like riding it like a horse or something, but then like Thrawn's behind him, like commanding him, like go or something like that.
Bro,
going through hyperspace.
Did you see that picture that was last week's for episode 1 of Mando season 3, where it was like those pictures of like what was this episode? I think I posted in the Instagram. It was like a picture of someone getting baptized. It was like
out of
whales
context
and
pictures. Yeah.
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 It was. There's so much.
Those were fun.
That was so
Yeah,
funny.
those were funny. All right, Drew. Any other final thoughts or theories about this episode?
Nope.
We gotta come up.
I was gonna say I'm excited for next week, but I'm kind of worried now with that name. I don't know.
All right. So we need to have some sort of like Q&A for the Spotify thing.
You
Should
think?
we ask about the assassin program,
Sure.
something like that, or
Or should we ask if Crosshair is gonna save Omega?
maybe we could say, what is Crosshair's fate for this season? Is he gonna live, die,
Ooh, that's a good one.
save someone? Like that'd be cool. We'll do something like that.
Just say what is Crosshair's fate?
Yep, I gotta write that down or something to forget. There was one time when we first started doing the Q&As, like, okay, this is my Q&A that we said in the podcast, and I forgot what it was, and I had to listen through the whole entire episode until
the whole episode.
because I didn't know where it was. I said it. So like I had to listen. Like it was like an hour in. I was like, okay, there it is. So, all right, Dave, STP is
Bye.
gone, leaving. Have a good night in the chat. Bye. So I had to listen for like an hour until I found my question, and I was like, this is. Like, how do people listen to podcasts? I don't understand.
Bro, don't say that.
Dude, it's hard.
Jeez.
It's hard for me to like sit and listen to like podcast. Like I can't. I have to like.
It's not your thing.
It's hard. Like I listen to Lucy's podcast, and like I was listening to like some other podcasts of like our
But
fans.
you also don't. You can't listen to it at work.
Right.
Like a lot of our listeners and a lot of people that consume podcasts, they do it at work. Like I listen to podcasts all day at work, nonstop.
Yeah.
Until my headphones die, and then I have to charge them, and then I do it again.
Dang, bro.
Yeah.
All right.
That's why I couldn't work with you, Jeremiah. I need headphones, bro.
Right. Well, so we do voicemails every episode, but we only do it once a week. So when there's 2 episodes, we don't do voicemails, but we're just gonna do some email ones from Elias. We're just gonna do them just for fun. So we got our actual voicemail from Mando's episode, so we still have the streak going, but we figured we could do some of these questions from Elias. So he has 3 of them for us. So we're not even gonna do the transition music. Sorry, because there's no actual voicemails.
Oh, it's not.
So first question. Now this is
it's email time.
there we go. So first one. This is a question we've gotten a lot. That's probably the most common question that we always get. But if you could live anywhere on the planet, where would it be? I would live. He says I would live in Brighton, England. It is a fairly large town/city next to the coast. Seems
anywhere on this planet. We get that one a lot. I feel like
well, if we can move anywhere, travel anywhere, like we get those questions a lot. I don't know. I just stay here in the United States.
Wilson, Milan, Italy? Have you been there? I've been there. It's okay.
Weird flex, but okay.
It's. I was not trying to flex. It's cool.
Anyway, I don't know. I have no desire to travel the world in any way.
Well, travel living, you're probably gonna just say Minnesota.
I don't know. I don't know. I like Minnesota, but it's also in the last 5 years, 10 years has changed a lot, I feel. And so
true.
Like I don't ever want to live somewhere where there's not clear 4 seasons. Like I could live somewhere like in like Illinois, Ohio, like Indiana, like that part where it's like you still get winter, where you still get snow, but it's not like super cold all the time. Like I hate hot weather. I can't live in the South. Like I can't do that. Like you couldn't pay me $1 million to move down there. Sorry, Southern United States, and I need good internet too. Like I can't live in the middle of nowhere. I can't be like my parents and get like 10 megabits of internet speed.
Oh no, yeah.
That's like the worst. Like
I don't know. I need a place where I could like hunt, fish, do outdoor things.
Yeah.
I think for me, I'd probably pick Montana.
Dude, it's super expensive to live in Montana now, dude. You know, it's been popping. Like
Yellowstone, man. That show been making it very, very consumer place to live. I did like North Carolina when I visited with Andrew. It was really cool. You can do a lot of that there too. But I think Montana.
Well, I also want to move to a state that doesn't have state income tax. That would be nice.
Florida.
I'm not moving Florida. But like South Dakota, Texas. Is
it South Dakota?
South or North Dakota, one of them. I know you don't like, dude. Just to add like 5% more of my income to like
tell me about it.
That's a lot of money. Now, yes, you pay higher taxes elsewhere, like sales tax is higher, but that's you get to choose what you buy, so that's your own fault. Like if you buy something, so
yep.
Like
in any of the Dakotas, it's not that expensive to live either.
Right, but then you gotta like drive like an hour to see your neighbor or something. So
true.
But all right, cool.
Yeah, I've always said Florida too, but I'm trying to think of outside the country. I don't know. I liked France a lot, but you can't really do much outdoor stuff.
There's not a lot of places in Europe where you can like hunt, is there?
No, they're super strict
Because like
on like there's places,
like
but like like and there's no other country where you can just carry a gun. Like it's not really the same thing.
I feel like there's a lot of fishing in Europe. Because like a lot of them are like on like half of Europe is like on the coast, so there's a lot of like coastal stuff.
There's a lot of sea fishing,
but then there's like there's still lots of lakes and rivers and stuff you can go fishing in. I'm assuming, but I don't know. Oh,
yeah.
Thank you for that first question from Elias. Second question. This is a weird, hard question, but would you rather be able to speak every language or play every instrument? And he says, I would choose to speak language.
100% speak any language. Easy. Hands down.
I don't know.
Easy question. I already play so many instruments, so for me.
Yeah, but you'd be able to. So I'm assuming every language fluently or every instrument like professionally. Like, well,
I understand that.
Feel like,
but the language would come so in handy, bro. You could go live anywhere. You could have any job. Like,
yeah, but it's people who don't do that can still do that a lot. Also, like people move to Europe all the time, move to Asia all the time because English is becoming like a primary language everybody learns.
Correct, but I'm saying, bro, like to be able just to speak any language. I don't know.
I feel like
I could like communicate with like my coworkers that talk crap about everyone and like Spanish. I could talk to my in-laws. I could talk to my wife behind people's back all the time more than I already do. Like I don't know. The language thing would be so cool because then traveling. Okay, but you don't want to travel, so for me, it's like, dude, I would love like I'll just like, oh yeah, I'll just go to this country. It's fine. I already know I can get around. The hardest thing when you go to different countries is like if you don't have like a translator or stuff, you have to try and hope and pray that someone speaks some form.
I don't know. English. I feel like people travel the world all the time and they don't know languages.
No, they do.
I'm saying like it's
make it so much easier.
I'm saying like people do it and they enjoy it and it's a successful trip without learning like so they can easily get by. But like
and like now for sure like Google Translate is so good now where it's like super easy.
I just feel like learning like knowing how to play every instrument like professionally would be like would do more for you in the long run. Like you'd make so much money just being a musician.
You'd make so much money knowing all the language.
You can't monetize knowing a language. You'd have to become like a translator for the UN where you.
Yeah, or you can be like, I'm just gonna work in Japan because I know Japanese. You can just do that.
But that's just,
I can just go to this country and get a job.
But then that's just that job, just like a regular job. But you're not gonna make more money because you.
No, but there's opportunity.
I don't know, I feel like
there's so many people that know a lot of instruments fluently that still don't have great jobs either.
But if you can play every instrument, like everyone's gonna know you. You're gonna become like a professional. You're gonna travel the world playing. You're gonna do concerts around the world. Like it's gonna be you're gonna have a sold out concert somewhere, and you're just gonna like have a stage.
You can't play it all.
You're gonna have a whole stage full of instruments, and you're gonna have like a basket of like the balls, and you're gonna pull out a ball, and it says clarinet, and you start playing the clarinet, and then people just get wild, and then you reach in there, and it's the trombone, and then it's a piano, and then it's like you could just
people do that though. There's string instrument people like
people don't
can do that.
I don't know.
People know, like I mean, my band teacher knew like literally how to play every instrument.
Yeah, but that's band teachers.
And was good at. That's what I'm saying.
But they don't know every instrument. There's literally
my band teacher knew like
there's literally thousands of instruments in the world right now.
Okay, true. Yes, I understand. But there's also thousands of languages too.
but you can't monetize that as well as
I disagree. I think you monetize it better than
you can
music.
go on YouTube.
This is coming from someone that can play 5 instruments.
Weird flex, but okay.
I'm just saying, like,
I'm doing instrument. Like, I feel like if I could play a single instrument professionally, like I'd rather do that than just to know like one other.
I'm curious to hear what Andrew would say about this.
Oh, he would.
'Cause he
He do
plays the
no.
instrument at a
He
professional
he
level.
do language, no doubt. He's obsessed.
there you
He's
go.
obsessed with Korean culture and stuff. If he could speak
Yeah, but
Korean, he'd move to Korea in a heartbeat and move there and never come back to America ever again. Like,
I don't know though. I don't think
I think that him and Micaiah would love to move to South, I was gonna say North Korea, move to South Korea
I would definitely
and
not
just
love
live there
that.
for the rest of their life. Like they would do that in a heartbeat. I feel like.
I don't know. This is coming from my sister who is just as intense as them, who learn Korean language, who is teaching in Korea right now, and doesn't really like it that much, and is having kind of a hard time
Well, I have
because
thoughts on that,
the
but that's a whole
culture-
different.
the culture, like once you like are from America, you're used to American things, and like that's with all cultures, right? Like you're used to the way your culture is, and so like when you're moving to a different culture, like this girl is calling us like complaining that she can't find hot Cheetos anywhere, like there's this, you know what I mean? Like this is how it works. Like you're used to your own things, your own culture.
Yeah, but
So I feel like Andrew and them. I mean, I think Andrew might pick it just because he would love to know every language. I would love Japanese just so I can watch anime without freaking reading. That'd be amazing.
there's a way you can do that, right?
No, there's not.
You can watch the dub version, dude. You don't have to do that at all.
No, there's not.
So your final answer is language. My final answer is
100%.
instruments. Like honestly, like if I
Chad, help us out. What do y'all think?
if I could
Y'all been
just
quiet about
if
this.
I could just do one instrument, like I'd
You should have never stopped playing.
No.
What was it?
flute.
What was it? The flute?
Like if I when I watch like professional,
Do you have your flute at your place right
yeah,
now?
it's in my packed away.
You should pick it up one day. Start going.
I
ham on
would
it.
not know how to read music. I would not remember what the lines and spaces are anymore. It's been what 14, almost 14 years since I've played. So I could put it together. I could hold it correctly. I can make some
Well,
sound.
Will knows how to play the recorder, so there you go.
All right, but
It's a weird flex.
I just see people playing like professional, like pianists, like playing. Like there's this one. I think she's Chinese. Yuja Wang, dude, she's intense, dude. She's amazing. And so like just like doing that.
Shout out to
Shout
her.
out to her if you're listening. Slide into my DMs. So like
Boy, said slide into my DM.
So like but then like other instruments it's just mind boggling. I feel like
Yeah.
people who can do music well like is just mind boggling to me. Because like I sucked at when I was in band. Like I was just it was terrible. One, I didn't practice that much. But like people who are good at music, their brains are literally wired
They're
to
different.
do it. And I just didn't have the brain ability to
The art, yeah.
it's like
No.
I could never do it. So
Yeah, our brains are weird.
yep.
I don't know if it's
All
better.
right. So
We're struggling.
third question and final question from Elias says, would you rather live in complete isolation in the mountains for a year or live in a place where nobody speaks the same language as you and you can't learn the language they're speaking? And he says, I would probably choose mountains.
100% mountain.
Yeah, me too.
I always think about that all the time.
And so, yeah, I would do mountains just because I'm in control, I guess you could say. Or like where if you don't speak the language, then like you got to figure out how to like survive for a year not knowing how to speak a language, and you can't learn a language. So it's like, I guess that means like you wouldn't even know simple
You
phrases
couldn't even
like
become
where's the bathroom
familiar.
or like
Yeah.
we'll work for food. Like you wouldn't be able to say that. So I would go with mountains. Hopefully there's good internet up there.
I doubt it.
Well, I
I
guess
don't think
isolation
I've heard of
does
it.
that mean you don't have any contact with the outside world, or you just don't have anyone with
Yes.
you?
Both.
Dang.
I don't know if you would pick mountains, bro.
Now,
Because at
is it
least,
guaranteed that I'd
if
be
you're in
able
a
to?
city, you can go buy food and leave.
But would you be able to? Is like the question assume that you would have
Per,
the ability to survive for a year? Like you'd have like a cabin, and you'd have food. Like whether it's because
or
you
is it
hunted.
you have to provide for yourself? Hunt, scavenge. I guess that's either way. I'd still pick mountains because I can do all that stuff. And
Right. I
my dream is to own like a cabin, like your parents have their house, and like go spend like weeks up there. I would love that.
I'm not even. I don't even have any desire to go to a cabin ever again in my entire life. So it's like
your family literally has a cabin. And you're like, I'm good.
literally has a cabin, and my parents have their own cabin that they retired in, like
Meanwhile,
a few
I
miles
wish I
away
had a
from our cabin.
I wish I could be like, can I take Jeremiah's share and pay Jeremiah's half with this cabin? Why didn't you ask me? I would have
I
done
don't
that.
know, like 10 years ago, like because it was my mom, one of her sisters, and then one of her brothers had owned the cabin. They had 3 shares, and then they transferred it to like the kids, like my cousins and I had the option to become an part owner, and I said no.
Yeah, but why didn't you ask me? Can I just be you and
No.
just do it?
Then you gotta like pay dues every month to like keep for the upkeep, and then you have to like go there for like work weekends to like maintain the cabin, and
Yeah, I would love that.
and I'm good.
I would love
Then
that.
you gotta like
I would do it for you.
I
Just give me like a few weekends out of the summer to be up there.
yeah
I would love that.
I just don't.
When I went ice fishing like 2 weekends ago, and I was like in isolation in a little tiny cabin, it was
Like, believe me, I wish
loved
I
it.
could enjoy those things because I would like to have a simpler life.
Yeah, this is not.
But I just
Granted, I was watching UFC fights and
there's that too.
making steak and eggs, so it's not really that isolation. But
Yeah, I do remember you posting a picture of eating a steak. I'm like, frying a steak on a lake while fishing.
yep, it was awesome.
All right, Elias, thank you for those invigorating questions.
Yeah, that was like almost longer than the whole podcast itself.
Right. All right, so let's go over some socials and get out of here for tonight. So in the description below, there is a links.co/Empire Radio. It's a landing page for everything Empire Radio related. So if you wanted to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, join the Discord, there's a link for that. There's our fan email. Anyone can send us an email about anything and everything. YouTube link. Follow us on YouTube. A link for Twitch for watch parties that Drew does with The Mandalorian, and for our live streams. We do everything. So we've been talking with the chat as you've been listening to this episode, and they're there. They're booming, and they have some crazy shenanigans going on.
Yeah, go follow us on Twitch. There's other things we do on here too. Like sometimes I play games.
Sometimes. Yeah, and so then we're also there's like earlier we said the VCU Illustration Project. Please submit art. You don't have to be a professional. Just anything that's halfway decent, we'll take. And needlesslynerdy.com there's a link for that. We are part of that entertainment network, and so if you like nerdy junk, not junk, sorry, early nerdy stuff, it's all good stuff. Bunch of podcasts, articles, all that stuff. It's a growing, booming website. So this year there's going to be tons of new stuff added, and so follow that for more podcasts and whatnot. I think that's everything. So, yeah. Anything else, Drew, before we head out for the night?
For the week.
For the week?
Well, no. We'll be back here on Wednesday. And there'll be a watch party on YouTube and Mandalorian.
Yeah, episode 3 breakdown. Super hyped.
Sophie chapter 19. I'm pumped.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, you've been listening to another Bad Batch-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And may the Force be with you.
Always.